Okay, I'm carrying on with the Maverick truck camper build, and what I'm doing now is cutting ledges in the piece that will form the front of the slide out on the camper. Now, in order to cut these more accurately, as you can see, I've added a piece of wood to my fence, because the problem I'm having with the fence is that it has this groove in it, which doesn't bother anything when you first start cutting, because the styrofoam is riding along the whole thing. But once you get past the blade, it tends to start to fall into that groove, and that prevents it from making a perfectly accurate cut, which is what you're after if you're going to glue these things together with an overlapping joint like this. Right now I'm test fitting the pieces for the inner box, and it's going to need a little trimming. If you look in here, you can see the ledge that I made. There's also a ledge at the bottom and at both sides of this. Maybe you can see it's not fitting quite perfectly together yet. So I'm going to trim off 3/16 of an inch on this side and about 1/8 of an inch on the other side. And then it'll be ready to glue it all together. Today I will be putting what will become the sides on the inner box. As you can see, there is a lip all the way around, except for the top, because that's the open end. The lip is finished on both sides, and it's all ready for gluing. The water pails will remain in the inside of the gluing. It's to keep the bottom flat against the workbench, because they do tend to have a little bit of a curve to them, but once they're pulled together into the box shape, that takes care of that problem. Okay, I now have one side glued on. I was hoping to be able to just use tape to hold it together, but I used a little too much glue, which normally would be a problem if you're making a skin or making a flat panel assembly, because there's really not anywhere for the excess gas to go except to blow the skin right off the styrofoam. But in this case, there's lots of places for the gases to escape. The real problem was squishing the glue in to get the corners tight on the inside. So I ended up having to put 2 clamps on the top, 3 clamps on the bottom, which meant I had to take the water out from the inside of the middle of the box, where I'd hoped to use it to keep it flat, but I'm not too worried about that. It's nice and straight, and the clamps are holding it up quite nicely. But it was very awkward to stand on the ladder and get up in there and lift these 2 pails of water out. And I was also hoping to be able to glue both sides on at once, and that would definitely have been impossible and resulted in a very big problem with having to possibly have to remove one side or the other with the glue all over it, which would have made a huge mess. But at any rate, it just means I have to wait a couple of hours to put the other side on. But in this case, since I'm busy this afternoon, it'll just have to wait till tomorrow.